I was actually told I was under investigation for espionage.
Todd Ross was a proud member of the Canadian military back in 1987. 19 years old, while stationed on HMCS Saskatchewan, he came under military police investigation.
They asked me a number of questions, like where I grew up, if I had ever been to foreign countries. And one of the questions that they asked me was if I was gay.
It's been called the LGBT Purge. A class action lawsuit accuses the Canadian government of for decades carrying out a prolonged and widespread campaign to identify and expel thousands of LGBT members from the Canadian Armed Forces and federal public services.
Quite a disturbing chapter in Canadian history. And we think it's time to rectify this wrong.
Todd Ross says the military police investigated him for 18 months. And then on his second polygraph test,
at that point, I broke down and I admitted that I was gay. They pretty much got up from the desk and said, okay, this is what we wanted to hear.
Are you now or have you ever been a communist? Are you now or have you ever been a homosexual? The answer was yes. You were terminated.
Todd says, like thousands of others over the decades, he was told his military career was over, and so he reluctantly accepted an honorable discharge. The year was 1990.
I was really devastated. I had not admitted to myself that I was gay, so the fact that I just admitted to a stranger in a room facing a two-way mirror, hooked up to this machine that I was gay, I was just kind of a collapsed shell at that point. I did try to commit suicide after that.
The Canadian military lifted its ban on gay members in 1992, and this lawsuit covers every military or federal employee who may have been forced out because of their sexuality since the year it was no longer illegal to be gay in this country, 1969.
This practice of purging carried throughout the 70s, the 80s, and into the 90s. To think that in the 1990s, this actually was going on is really disturbing. There needs to be some compensation for the people who suffered.